How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it because the more people that will subscribe to the channel motivates me to make more Destiny 2 content. And if you want to try out this broken build for yourself, the dim link will also be in the link in the description. Season 21 just dropped and it has released new seasonal mods, or which can give us more builds to make. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Arc Titan build, and the exotic armor piece you're going to use is a chest armor called Heart of Inmost Light. The armor perk is called Overflowing Light. Using an ability, your grenade, melee, or barricade empowers the other two abilities. Empowered means abilities have faster regen, melees and grenades do more damage, and barricades have more hit points. Let's start with the seasonal mods. Currently, I only have 10 out of the 12 seasonal mods that I can acquire. So for the first mod is Authorized Mod Arc. The armor energy cost of all armor mods affecting your arc weapons are significantly discounted. And Authorized Mod Melee. The armor energy cost of all armor mods affecting your melee are significantly discounted. So instead of costing it 3, it's now going to cost 1 for the melee and for the arc mods. Next, we have Electric Armor. Stay amplified longer while your arc subclass is equipped, so you can now stay amplified for 20 seconds. Thunderous Retort. Grant bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or while amplified. Last until the end of the super is active. Countercharge. Gain a stack of armor charge when you stun a champion. Amped Up. Gain bonus damage resistance while amplified. And the final two armor mods you're going to be using is the first one, Shock and Awe. Arc Final Blows while you are amplified. Summon burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. The last seasonal artifact mod you would need for this build is called Lightning Strikes Twice. After throwing an arc grenade, gain increased grenade recharge for a short time. Arc Final Blows extend the duration of this benefit. For the super you're going to be using on your Arc Titan is Thunder Crash. For the class ability, you're going to be using Thruster. And for the movement ability, you can choose any movement ability you would like, but for me, Catapult Lift. For the arc melees, you're going to be using Thunderclap. Hold while grounded to plant your feet and begin charging your fist with arc energy. Release to unleash a devastating blast in front of you, dealing damage that increases with longer charge time. The main arc ability you're going to be using for this build is Pulse Grenades, because it's a grenade that periodically damages targets within its explosion radius. And it also stacks with this arc aspect called Touch of Thunder. Pulse grenades create ionic traces periodically as it damages targets and increases in damage over time. Ionic trace, a bolt of pure arc energy that travels along the ground, seeking towards its creator. When picked up, ionic traces grant ability energy. Once you throw your pulse grenade, you're also going to inflict Jolted. The target is energized with destructive arc light. They take additional damage while jolted and chain lightning to nearby targets. Jolt damage causes overload champions to be stunned, and as you're doing so as well, you can also blind them. Combatants are disoriented and cannot fire their weapons. Opposing Guardian's HUD is removed from their vision is obscured. When blinded, unstoppable champions are stunned. The second arc aspect is called a Knockout. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. Defeating targets with melee attacks starts health regeneration and makes you amplified. Your movement speed and weapon handling are greatly increased. After sprinting for a short time, your movement speed is further increased. Rapidly defeating targets with arc damage makes you amplified. The 4 fragments you're going to be using is the first one called Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. The second arc fragment is Spark of Shock. Your arc grenades jolt targets, and your third arc fragment is Spark of Magnitude. Your lingering arc grenades, your lightning grenade, pulse grenade, or storm grenade have extended duration. And your last arc fragment is Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. For the kinetic weapon you're going to be using is called the Riptide. It's a stasis fusion rifle that comes with autoloading holster and chill clip. You can be able to get this weapon in the Crucible playlist. Here's what autoloading holster does to this fusion rifle. The holstered weapon is automatically reloaded after a short period of time. And here's what chill clip does as well. Direct hits from the top half of the magazine causes a detonation that slows nearby targets. When slowing nearby targets, you can be able to stun overload champions, and also when you freeze champions, you can also be able to stun unstoppable champions. The main weapon you're going to be using is called the Trinity Ghoul. It's a arc combat bow in the energy slot. And here's the intrinsic trait. It's called Split Electron. Fire an arrow that splits when released. Aiming down sights and fully drawing the bow both decrease the spread. And here's the weapon perk. It's called the lightning rod. Precision kills grant the next shot chain lightning capabilities. And if you do have the catalyst for the Trinity Ghoul, here's what it does as well. Lightning rod now triggers from any arc damage final blows. So you can be using your arc abilities to kill your targets, and once doing so, you can also get a lightning rod. Next is the arc rocket launcher called the Blowout, is in the power weapon slot. The perks that you would choose are tracking module, because adds tracking capabilities to rockets, locks onto targets when aiming down sights, and the best perk, explosive light. Picking up an orb of power increases the next projectile's blast radius and damage. If you do have a hothead that has explosive light, I recommend you using that as well. But for me, I do not have an explosive light on my hothead, so I'm using the Blowout. The first armor mod you're going to be using for the helmet is called Harmonic Siphon. Rapid arc weapon final blows creates an orb of power. This also counts towards the Trinity Ghoul and Blowout. And the two other mods you're going to be using for the helmet is Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Now let's head to the gauntlets. For the gauntlets, you're using two armor mods. The first one is Grenade Kickstart. When your grenade energy is fully expended, you gain grenade energy. And the second armor mod is Firepower. Your grenade final blows creates an orb of power. Now heading to the exotic chest called the Heart of Inmost Light. The first armor mod you're going to be using is Harmonic Resistance, reduces incoming arc damage from combatants. The second one is Charged Up, increases the amount of number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. So instead of having 3, you're now going to be able to hold 4. The third one is Void Resistance. It produces incoming void damage from combatants. Now let's head to the leg armor. You're also going to be using two armor mods for the legs. The first one is Absolution, reduces ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. And this is a new mod for the legs called Elemental Charge. Collecting a Fire Sprite, Ionic Trace, Stasis Shard, or Void Breach, or destroying a Strand Tangle has a escalating chance to give you an armor charge. So the more Ionic Traces we produce, the more of a chance we have to get an armor charge. Lastly, let's head to the Titan Mark. The first armor mod is actually new, and it's called Powerful Attraction. Automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. And the second armor mod is Reaper. When using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. And lastly is Bomber. Reduces your grenade cooldown when using your class ability. I do have another arc build, but it's on the Warlock. If you're interested in watching that video, be sure to click on the screen right now, and I'm pretty sure this build is going to be broken this season. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.